So first portfolio is from a person called that goes by the name of Enayla. I'm gonna guess it's Enayla in London, UK. So they're a graduate 3D character artist, which these look pretty good. Um, First of all, you have a self portrait, which I thought was really cool. There's some pretty good stuff in here, and a really good control of fabrics was the thing I noticed right off of the bat. And I was like, oh, is that like a concept? And it's like, oh, critical role, okay. And then you'll see. We'll get into it. But let's start at the jewelry. Which, by the way, did you guys see Critical Role has like a show now on? I think it's on Prime, an animated series based off of their work. Like that's crazy. Anyways, this looks sick. Like brooch inspired by Caduceus cloak pin. Winter character designs. Super cool. Dang, printed it as well. Oh my gosh, that's cool. Wow, it's even like I'd say it's even cooler when it's printed. It's very good, Feltera. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I just noticed it. I don't know if it's like it's just being covered recently or something. I don't know. But this is well executed. The attention to detail is kind of crazy. I really like it. Nice shader on there as well for just really displaying the surfaces as they are. I don't really have too much to say on this. It's also 2 years old. Just something where I was like, oh, I want to click on that. And then you got some. It's interesting. What I'm noticing about your portfolio is it's very like it's either cosplay or it's related to content that's not necessarily 3D yet or will be in the future. But it's like seeing someone who's into cosplay making cosplay digitally, which I think is really cool. So this one's 2 years old as well. Did you look into printing these also? That kind of looks like you did. Man, that's crazy. Really cool. So 2 years old as well. I didn't want to comment on this one too much, but um, these patterns here are very sharp, if you want to say it like that. And I think in the future, doing stuff like this, maybe making them a little like softer on the edges, will really help like show that pattern a little better in light. But then again, I mean, look at it when it's printed, and then like it has a totally different feel. I think it doesn't translate well in 3D, but once printed, it looks pretty good. Labors of Love hit different for sure. I mean, it's really cool seeing like this type of stuff where it becomes physical, right? So see, this is the thing I'm talking about. I'm like, dude, that's so cool that it's a show, and this is 2 years old. So apparently, I'm extremely late to the freaking party, or maybe they're renewing, or they're starting to advertise. I don't know. It's weird, but this work is pretty cool. For being 2 years old, I don't want to like really comment on that stuff. Let's see how old this one is. So this one's last year, and this one is actually quite impressive. Just because you can see the amount of fabric work that went in. Let me just bring this over here. I'm just gonna do a quick scroll to make sure Twitch isn't gonna light me on fire. I guess worst case scenario is I go to YouTube, right? Z, what's up, man? How you doing? But like, look at the work that was put in. Like, this is impressive to me. Like, how about Kick? No, I'm not interested in Kick. I'm not really a fan of who owns them, so. Um, but yeah, really nice stuff. Marvelous Designer and ZBrush. So there's a little bit of work between the two. Curious how you doing? Hey, thank you for the resub. This is amazing in here. This type of detail. All of the anatomy critique. Is that even a thing, Polysongs? So let's see when you're... So this is 2 years ago as well. Wow, look at that. Z, one of the few who gives bits. I love it. Thank you, man. I was like, what is that sound? The hair is crazy nice. Look at it. It's even like the little peach fuzz, you know, that you get. Man, that's really cool. So this one's also 2 years old. I'm kind of like, I don't want to feedback on stuff that's too old. The most recent piece looks pretty impressive. Now this one, this is Horizon Zero Dawn inspired. And I believe there's a link in here as well. Yeah, Mother of Machines. But so you're basing it off of a concept. And it's cool seeing you take what you've been making that's kind of more grounded, right? And then trying to apply it in a stylized kind of fantastical way, if you want to say it like that, or fantasy way. It just, yeah, it looks awesome. Look at this. Like, that is crazy. It's very very nice work. And this is something that I'm a big fan of. Of course, if you've seen any of my other reviews, I'm like, show me wireframe, show me like your texture flats. This is like when you're working in like Marvelous Designer, showing me your like how you are thinking about the pieces is really cool to see. You feel like the flat shaded skin is kind of weird. Oh yeah, so because no one's in calls this evening, guys, if you have any comments or something that you want to raise, I can make sure that it's said in the stream. And maybe that can bring a little bit more value to the piece, to the review. Like, this is awesome too. You're really showing some like hard surface understanding. So this is 6 months ago, and visually this is quite a step up in quality from your previous stuff. But I guess it's kind of a different beast altogether. So, but are you? This is ZBrush and Maya. Are you modeling most of this and attempting to interpret low res painted textures to geometry? I appreciate that you're showing this. Yeah, this is the default dummy from Marvelous. But like, this is that's awesome. The thing I would say with this is being careful with the weighting of like how tight an edge is or how narrow little crevices get. Just because they don't always bake down nicely. And you also want to, like, for example, in this one, we know that this insets, right? But like if this were to bake down, it would bake quite flat. So you want to be able to see the sides, like you can see the side here. You want to see just a little bit of the side. That way you get all of the normal information, and it kind of gives you the perceived depth of what you're trying to portray in your normal map. Yeah, it's those fabric mannequins, like pincushion mannequins, if you want to say it like that. But this is really cool. I think the only thing you could do to maybe like take it over the top is really push the materials. Right now, the materials feel quite clean. There's a little bit of age and wear going on up there, but like these surfaces feel pretty pristine. And I think making it feel worn, making it feel like it's seen life, would be really nice. And that's, to me, that's kind of what would take it further. Floating normal baking is awesome. Don't forget that. Oh, you could totally do the floating normal bakes for sure. You don't have to model it all in, right? Like these could be floaters. And then you just bake projected on there. That scratch kind of looks like the old Substance logo. A little bit. But really cool. Really cool stuff. This one's the one that kind of blew my mind just because of the rendition of it. So like this is the model. This is the 3D model, right? Looks pretty good. It looks consistent with the look that uh that's being rendered to it, if that makes sense. Dude, look at the hand. It's like dripping. And it gets crazier. So you're like, "Oh wow, it is okay, it is 3D." Like that it just looks like that when it's moving around. So there's a bit of a cell shade effect going on, I think, as well. But then look at this. So this is the concept. And there's quite a well done rendition of it. I feel like maybe she's a younger version of her. Like she feels a little shorter and like the face maybe isn't as long, but this is really well done. So real-time character sculpt from Critical Role as well. This is good that you're showing the wireframes. It's always nice to see like where you're putting your geometry, where the worth is being put in, or where the cost is being placed. Dude, look at that hand. Like that's hardcore. So yeah, I feel like her face maybe just needs to be a bit longer. Like her jawline could maybe be sunken in a little bit more, and it could like elongate her face. And then when we look at the geometry, I think so. This is 111,000 triangles, or no? What is? Oh, it's vertex count. Is that? Wait. Okay. I don't know how to convert that. But dude, look at the bottom edge of this. That is crazy. Yeah, her eyes are definitely larger by comparison between the two. I think this is honestly is the area where it's different the most is in the way that the face is structured. And faces are not easy. But if you were to try and improve, that's kind of where I would put the focus. But it's really impressive. Oh, and you zoom in as well. Really nice. Yeah, 100% Polly. How does one do rips at the bottom of the dress? That's a good question. I know there's a technique for it. I have not done it myself, but isn't there like an alpha removal you can do, and then you can smooth it, so you can split those faces off, and then when you smooth it, they kind of like close up. Either way, really well done. This is especially nice to see. But yeah, and then we get to the link. The link Shokri is pinned in chat at the very top there. But like, look at this one. This one's 5 months ago. Raising a family. The presentation of this is extremely nice. I think the only way to bring it further is to ground them somehow. I'm not really a fan of like floating objects, but like if their feet were on something, if there was just like a rug or something like that, that would really help, I think. But look at the attention. Again, the attention to detail, the amount of work done on the materials. The materials here are definitely the strongest of all the material work you've done so far. The book here. Oh man, am I yawning? The book here is deformed a little bit in the geometry. Just making sure that flattens out would be really nice. Visual, how you doing? Good to see you. But like, it's crazy because there's like old clothing, and then there's like clearly a newish like top sweater, and it feels new, but then a little bit dirtied from like just the stuff that's being put on around it. again, look at that hair. This is really nice stuff. This one's really, really nice. So you have UE5, D&D, and Necromancer, and Skeleton. She doesn't really give a Necromancer vibe. Yeah, the sweater pattern is pretty on point. Anyways, this one's really, really cool. Oh, and this is nice. You can see that your vertex count is going down, but it's still quite detailed. This is more online, like on par with like when you see like pre-renders in Granny Necromancer. She's a sweet old lady necro. This is like what you would see in maybe like a cutscene, honestly, like a pre-render. It just looks great. I think if I were to comment on anything, maybe the ambient lighting is a little on the like muted side. So like your shadows are just kind of dark with no color. Getting some color in there would be really nice. And whenever in doubt, just pull the color of what's in the sky and get that to fill the shadows a little bit. Helps immensely with grounding things and giving your character a little bit more like of a realistic touch. So we got wireframes, we got the sculpts. Man, that is crazy. I'm scared that I'm yawning so much. Usually when I'm yawning, it means I'm getting ready to have a migraine. Wow. So there is for sure there's a lot of scrolling going on here. It's something to keep in mind with like how much you're showing here. Like you might be able to get away with not having this one, for example, just because see they're grounded here too. Yeah, maybe you don't need this one, depending on how high res this is. Oh yeah, dude, this is pretty high res. It's still a little blurry. Might be worth using the sharpening command. Let me info scroll. You might need to use like the command line for the sharpening. Maybe like just a sharpen 1 or 2. 2's right on the edge of too much. But yeah, removing some of these images could be good, just so there's less scrolling. Like I don't know if you need this one either. This one feels like I already saw this one. Like where did I? Maybe it's just because I've scrolled past it. But yeah, there's a lot of these where I'm like, oh, okay. Like this one sculpt wise is pretty nice to see, but I think this one already gives us enough information to look at. And then I'm quite interested in this stuff here. Seeing how you set up all your UVs. You can see how straight everything is. You're very methodical in your work. This is really, really nice to see. Look at that. Man. Very well done. Also, really appreciate the reference board. Look at the unified branding. Oh, maybe I can... This branding that's going on here. If you're going to put branding on images, having it controlled like this is really nice. Photoshop Smart Sharpen is awesome. Oh, I have not used that. Maybe we can let's load this one up. So see, this one's sharp, but it's soft where I guess you want it to be sharper, like in the face. I don't know if this is gonna do the trick. Let me make sure this is gonna paste over okay. Nice. All right. So if we go filter and then we go like sharpen, smart sharpen. Is it previewing it as well? It is. And then amount 200%. Geez. Yeah, usually what lens blur, motion blur, Gaussian blur. Wow, that's really interesting. That is doing a pretty good job. Maybe 100. Because let's do that, and then I'll paste again. So this is with smart, and then we'll do one where I do the thing I always like to do, the high pass. So use the high pass to like emphasize details, and then we do like a overlay. Yeah, see, that's a little extreme. Maybe you would do it a little bit sharper. So instead of it emphasizing all those, you're just getting just the little bits you want. Overlay. So yeah, I wonder. That's interesting. They basically look the same as the smart. I wonder if that's what's happening in the smart sharpen. The ears feel a bit young for her age. Yeah, I would agree with that. Definitely. But overall, pretty nice. Pretty nice. This is 5 months ago, right? Yeah, 5 months ago. I think if we scroll down enough. So when we look at these texture sheets, I kind of wish I could see them a little bit larger. Maybe this is large, and then I just need to. Miro, that's your high pass filter is your favorite. That's a good catch with the ears, man. So one thing I'm not seeing, so we got a normal, an albedo, and then I guess it's a pack mask. So that's why so I'm gonna just copy this image. We're gonna bring this into Photoshop, and we're gonna just go to the channels, and I'm gonna go through your channels in your packed map. So it looks like your red channel is your ambient occlusion. The green channel is your roughness, which is good. You want that extra bit of data. And then the blue channel, I'm assuming, is your metalness, like your metallic map. And it looks like it. Yeah. It looks like it. Let me see here. Yeah. Yeah, you're doing a lot of these like mixed fabrics where it's semi-metallic like, or it has metal like attributes. So it gets a little funky with how you display it in your channel. But yeah, you can see here with like the trim and leather, fabric accessories, hard surface. This is like hard surface and leather, and maybe a little bit of the accessories is when you're going to see the most metallic information popping through. Man, really cool. Very well done, to say the least. I think that a lot of these wrinkles are a bit subtle, or maybe they need to be like creased a bit more, just because when they bake down, they'll soften up quite a bit. But that's just me. Like when I see these wrinkles here, like this one's pretty good, but some of them are so subtle that I don't know if they like how much they come through, especially when you start tiling the skin map on here. So depending on how you're doing your face, you have like a detail normal, right? But faces are really complex, and the detail normal or the textual information based on like where you're at on the face will change what type of detail normal you'd use. So there's actually you'll see character artists will paint a mask to switch between different types of normals based on where you're at on the face. And so, for example, you can see the resolution on the tip of the nose gets really low. And that might just be to do with like the tiling of the detail normal, just not having enough resolution on the nose. So you could tile it up and down and then just paint where it's tiling differently, if that makes sense. You just sample the same detail normal, because you can see around the neck area that the resolution here is quite nice, and up here it feels a little low res, like it's tiling maybe a little too little. And then the inner ear, maybe you would want to paint away some of the normal information. That way it softens up a little bit. Well, where did you? How you doing? But yeah, really, really nice stuff. This most recent one is a winner for sure. Well done. Since you're not in the call or anything like that, if you have any questions, we've got a channel on the Discord that I made for you guys. You can just ask me questions there, and that's where I will post your video as well. So, but really cool. Really, really nice stuff.